The elite boy of her class, the USS Thresher, was a brand new nuclear-powered attack submarine that was launched July 1960. Named after the Thresher shark, these subs were designed to pursue and destroy Soviet vessels. At the time, it was one of the fastest and quietest submarines in the world, regarded as a testament to America's ability to innovate and quickly match new developments coming out of the Soviet Union. After approximately a year and a half of service, the sub was docked at Port Canaveral, Florida, where she was struck by a tug, damaging one of her ballast tanks. Following the repairs in Connecticut, she again went south towards Florida, where she did some more trials and tests without any incident. The vessel next docked at the Portsmouth shipyard for scheduled repairs and maintenance, which took from July 1962 to April of 1963. Once recertified, the submarine undocked at April 8th. The very next day, the Thresher, under the command of Lieutenant Commander John Wesley Harvey, left Maine to conduct post-overhaul dive trials. At an area around 190 nautical miles from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, the sub began to take its first dive after meeting up with the submarine rescue ship, the Skylark. After servicing from a trim dive, the sub went under again, this time diving to half of the vessel's test depth. Test depth being the maximum depth at which the sub is allowed to operate normally under peacetime conditions. She remained submerged overnight before resuming communications with the Skylark on the 10th, where the sub began its deep dive trials. Slowly diving deeper as it circled the Skylark in order to maintain communication, the crew did frequent checks on the ship's integrity as it descended into the dark depths below. As the Thresher neared its test depth, however, things began to take an unexpected turn for the worse. The Skylark began receiving communications from the submarine beneath it that were garbled and hard to hear, indicating that they were having minor difficulties, that the sub was at a positive up angle, and that they were going to attempt to blow the ballast tanks. The final messages received from the submarine were mostly unintelligible, except for the number 900, followed by exceeding test depth. Minutes later, the Skylark detected a high-energy, low-frequency sound reminiscent of that of an underwater implosion. The USS Thresher had sunk, taking with it all 129 crew members on board. The Navy scoured the ocean for clues as to how a state-of-the-art submarine had been lost. After extensive searching, the wreck was found over 8,000 feet below the surface, with debris scattered for miles around the seafloor. The cause of the catastrophic sinking is highly attributed to the failure of a saltwater piping system joint. The failure of the joint could have caused a large leak, where the resulting seawater pouring in might have shorted one of the sub's many electrical panels. This would have caused a shutdown of the nuclear reactor that powered the sub, hindering propulsion. Based on the Thresher's last few communications, the sub had likely attempted to blow the ballast tanks to reach the surface, as without propulsion, plus the potential weight accompanying the floodwater, it would have been sinking ever deeper past test depth. The ballast tanks, which are water-filled compartments that assist with keeping the sub balanced, are flooded with compressed air, causing the entire ship to rapidly surface. The tanks failed to blow in the Thresher, however, and the submarine continued to sink uncontrollably. Ice forming on the high-pressure air flasks are likely what attributed to the air not reaching the ballast tanks. The Thresher is assumed to have imploded at a depth of around 1,200 to 2,000 feet below the surface, with the high pressure of the deep ocean around the sub eventually crushing the metal hull. Some of the crew likely would have been terrified, or at least on edge, as they listened to the groaning and the creaking of the ship as it sank further and further, though it's possible that many might have been unaware of their doom. When a ship rapidly implodes underwater, death is mercifully instantaneous. Experts say that the human mind would be unable to perceive the events, as their bodies are utterly destroyed by the crushing metal around them in the fraction of a second.